having fun.
Hi, welcome to Legacy of Fun. I'm Mike Mitrovich, and this is follow-up to a video I posted last week where I showed you my preparations as a new Dungeon Master, getting ready to run my first D&D session using the 5th edition starter set. My hope was that other new DMs might learn from my mistakes or pick up some ideas for their own sessions. But before I tell you how it all went down, I've got two pieces of business. One is a huge thank you to my buddy Quack at Right On Cue Films. He's letting me borrow his Sony Nex 7 camera so I can play around with some higher production values for a change, which is pretty cool. If you guys are in the Pacific Northwest and you are looking for an awesome videographer, check out roqfilms.com. He's got a demo reel there. Quack is awesome. Second, while I talk about my session, there may be some starter set spoilers in here, so if that bothers you, you should probably not watch this video. Cool? Alright, still here? Cool. Well, let's start with the parts that didn't go so well. In the first encounter, I let myself get tripped up on just some basic rules. I rolled a 24 for the goblins in stealth, so they had surprise, but I also let the fighter ready in action so that he could kind of cover the other PCs as they approached the dead horses. This sounded good at first until I had the goblins attack in surprise, but felt like I should let the fighter do something too, and he was first in initiative order, so I let him attack twice. Now, none of this was the worst thing in the world, but it just felt clumsy for me and the players. I think the key to the whole thing is that readying an action is a combat action, and the players weren't in combat yet. I should have just had the goblins surprise them and then carried out a regular combat round in initiative order. Total newbie mistake. Okay, the next part that didn't go so well was scaling down the adventure for 3 players. Now, I think this is something that will come with experience, but it's also something I could have been better prepared for. See, I made the decision to just kind of wing the scaling on game day, which, to be honest, mostly worked. I mean, battles were pretty tough, but not completely demoralizing, except for maybe the wizard. I'll talk about that in a minute. However, there were just a few encounters where I wasted a bunch of time kind of hemming and hawing about how to scale it down. It just made it kind of clumsy and less engaging for the players. Now, I'm not exactly sure how I would fix this next time, but I think I would at least go through all the encounters in the early part of the adventure and make some decisions ahead of time, write myself some notes so I'm not doing that in the middle of the game, so at least have some ideas on the page. Okay, so nothing too horrible so far, but the worst part, the part I was least prepared for, was the town of Phandalin. I was prepared for the ambush, I was prepared for Cragmaw Cave, but I just was not ready to run the town of Phandalin. My players went straight there, skipping the cave at first, and then they had the nerve to split up when they got there, which, between you and me, I should have been prepared for. I mean, it all went fine. It just wasn't as fun as it could have been if I'd prepared to run these NPCs in an engaging way. So next time we play, I'm going to have an index card for every NPC, at least every important NPC in the town of Phandalin. It'll have their name, some basic details on their appearance, what quest they offer, their motivation, and just some notes on their character, whether it might be an actor that I want to base them off of, or a family member, whatever, some note so that I can actually play these characters and make them fun to talk to. Alright, enough about my mistakes. Let me talk about some stuff I did okay. First, prepping my players over email worked out really well. They were totally ready to play as soon as they got to my house. Once we started playing, I think the players really enjoyed my style of narration. We played total theater of mind style, no miniatures or anything. I didn't share any of the monster stats or hit points or anything with them. I just described everything as a narrative as we played. Though I do have to admit that I toned down the descriptions a little bit because my 6-year-old was playing in the house. As for the basic room descriptions, I tried not to read word for word. I tried to basically picture the room in my mind and describe what I saw. And I think this worked pretty well and seemed to give my narration a bit more life, and I think that was more fun for the players. When we were all finished, one of my players said that coming into it, you know, my friends are board gamers, they're not role-playing tabletop gamers, but one of them said that he wasn't sure how this would work without a board on the table, and at the end he said it worked really well, he liked it, but he probably would prefer at least some loose miniature positioning to see how things are playing out on the battlefield. I think the last piece I want to mention is just player focus. I think each of my players got a chance to shine and nobody really stole the show. Dude, I swear the wizard would need help from the cleric every time he tripped over a rock. I would blink and the guy'd be dead. But then he would turn around and he'd have these moments where he just burninates everything in the scene. The fighter, he did damage like you would expect a fighter to do, but he also had some just great timing and saved the other party members a bunch of times. And the cleric made awesome use of his 2 spell slots, keeping the party going, adding some strategy to the play, and smacking foes upside the head with his hammer. So there you have it, the results of my first session. All successes and failures and mistakes aside, it was awesome. We had tons of fun. To all the other newbie DMs out there, I hope you guys have as much fun as we did. Until next time, have fun out there.
Well, I hope you're having fun.